Look, I need to get this off my chest because apparently everyone has an opinion about what happened at my anniversary party, but nobody's asking for my side of things. I'm Cordelia. I'm 32. And yeah, I did call my husband Edmund my backup option in front of all our friends 3 weeks ago, right before he pulled out his phone and filed for divorce on the spot. Let me start from the beginning. I'm working the front desk at the Grandview Hotel. My husband Edmund is 35, an insurance adjuster who thinks excitement means buying name-brand cereal instead of generic. We've been married 7 years with 2 kids. Oliver is 8 and Imogen is 5. Don't get me wrong, Edmund isn't a bad husband. He pays the bills on time, never forgets to pick up milk, and reads bedtime stories to the kids every night. But somewhere between diaper changes and mortgage payments, I started feeling invisible. Like I was just going through the motions of being a wife and mother. That's when I met Lysander at the hotel gym 6 months ago. He's 29, a personal trainer with arms that could crush watermelons, and a smile that made me remember I was still a woman, not just someone's wife. He'd lean against the front desk during my breaks, making jokes about the entitled guests and asking about my day like he actually cared about the answer. Edmund never asked about my day anymore. He'd come home, grunt hello, eat dinner while scrolling his phone, then fall asleep watching the news. When I tried to talk about feeling disconnected, he'd say we were just in a busy phase and things would get better soon. But Lysander made me feel alive again. When he suggested we grab coffee after work, I said yes. When coffee turned into dinner, I didn't stop it. When dinner turned into more, I told myself I deserved to feel wanted. I justified everything. Edmund was boring, predictable, safe. I'd married him because he was reliable, not because he set my world on fire. Lysander represented everything Edmund wasn't: spontaneous, passionate, dangerous. I convinced myself I could have both: the security Edmund provided and the excitement Lysander offered. For months, I lived this double life. Edmund never suspected anything. He trusted me completely, which made it easier to lie. I'd tell him I was working late or going out with friends, then meet Lysander at his apartment. He made me feel beautiful, desired, important. But Edmund started asking questions when he found a gym membership receipt in my purse that I couldn't explain. I told him I was thinking about getting healthier. Maybe he should try it too. When he offered to come with me, I panicked and said the gym was women only. He looked confused but dropped it. That's when I knew he was starting to get suspicious. Our 7th anniversary fell on a Saturday, and Edmund wanted to throw a party. "Let's celebrate what we've built together," he said, looking at me with those sincere brown eyes that made me feel guilty. I agreed, because saying no would have seemed weird. Edmund invited both our families, close friends, and some neighbors. 30 people crammed into our living room, eating catered sandwiches and pretending our marriage was something worth celebrating. I spent the afternoon getting ready, putting on the blue dress Edmund bought me for my birthday. The one he said brought out my eyes. Lysander had been distant lately. When I'd hint about spending more time together, he'd change the subject. When I asked if he was seeing other people, he laughed and said we weren't exclusive. It stung because I'd assumed we were building towards something real. By the time guests started arriving, I'd had 2 glasses of wine and was feeling reckless. Everyone kept commenting on how happy we looked together, how lucky we were to make it 7 years. Edmund gave a speech about partnership and commitment that made people tear up. I smiled and nodded while thinking about Lysander's hands on my body 3 days earlier. "What's your secret?" asked our neighbor Janet, raising her wine glass. 7 years and you still look at each other like newlyweds." Everyone turned to look at me, waiting for my answer. I should have said something sweet about communication or compromise. Instead, the wine and my frustration with Lysander made me want to shock someone. Anyone. "Edmund's my backup option," I said with a laugh. "If my real plans don't work out, at least I have stability." The room went quiet. Edmund's face drained of color. His sister Beatrice dropped her fork. I should have stopped there, but the attention felt intoxicating. "What? You all know I settled for security over passion." That's what smart women do, right? Edmund stood up slowly, his hands shaking. Everyone needs to leave. Now. People started gathering their coats without making eye contact. I tried to laugh it off, saying it was just a joke, but no one was buying it. Edmund walked to the kitchen and I heard him dialing his phone. Hello, this is Edmund Hartwell. I need to file for divorce immediately. Yes, I know it's Saturday evening. This is an emergency. Beatrice grabbed my arm. What did you mean by real plans? The last guest had barely cleared the driveway when Beatrice cornered me in the kitchen. Edmund was still on the phone with his lawyer, speaking in the calm, measured tone he used for insurance claims. Tell me about these real plans, Cordelia, Beatrice said. She'd never liked me much, always thought Edmund could do better. What exactly are you planning that doesn't include my brother? I tried to deflect. It was just a stupid joke. I'd had too much wine. That wasn't a joke. That was the truth slipping out. Beatrice crossed her arms. You're having an affair. It wasn't a question. My silence was answer enough. Edmund hung up the phone and turned around. The lawyer will meet us at his office Monday morning. I want this done quickly and quietly for the kids' sake. Edmund, wait, I started, but he held up his hand. 7 years, Cordelia. 7 years I've worked 2 jobs to keep us comfortable. 7 years I've come home every night, helped with homework, fixed what was broken, tried to be the husband and father this family deserved. And you've been treating me like your backup plan. The kids had been upstairs during the party, but now they were creeping down to see why everyone was yelling. Imogen was crying, and Oliver looked scared. Edmund immediately knelt down to comfort them. Daddy and Mommy need to talk about some grown-up things, he said gently. Why don't you go watch a movie in your room? I'll be up in a few minutes. That's when Edmund's parents arrived. Beatrice must have called them. His mother took one look at the situation and immediately started cleaning up party dishes, the way she always did when she was angry. His father just stared at me with disappointment. Who is he? Edmund asked once the kids were gone. I could have lied, but what was the point now? His name is Lysander. He's a trainer at the hotel gym. How long? 6 months. Edmund's father made a disgusted noise. His mother dropped a plate and it shattered on the kitchen floor. 6 months, Edmund repeated. Our anniversary was just an inconvenience to work around. I tried to explain that it wasn't like that I loved Edmund, but wasn't in love with him anymore, that people change and grow apart. I said marriage shouldn't mean giving up on dreams and passion. Dreams? Beatrice laughed harshly. You mean sneaking around with some gym rat is your dream? You don't understand, I said. Edmund and I, we're like roommates. There's no spark, no excitement. I need more than just paying bills and discussing grocery lists. So you decided to humiliate him in front of everyone we know? Edmund's mother finally spoke. You made him look like a fool at his own anniversary party. That's when my parents showed up. Beatrice had called them too. When they heard what happened, my father shook his head, and my mother actually apologized to Edmund's family. They said they were ashamed of how I'd acted. Everyone was against me. I was trying to explain that modern relationships are complicated, that people need different things at different times when someone knocked on the front door. Edmund answered it, and my blood turned to ice. It was Lysander. Hey, I heard there was some kind of party drama, Lysander said, walking into our living room like he owned the place. He looked around at all the shocked faces and grinned. Someone called Cordelia a backup option. That's hilarious. The room was dead silent. Edmund's jaw tightened as he realized this was the man I'd been sleeping with for 6 months. Actually, Lysander continued, she told me the same thing about you. Said her husband was just the safe choice while she figured out what she really wanted. I wanted to disappear. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Lysander was supposed to be discreet, understanding. Instead, he was making everything worse. The backup option thing is pretty funny, though, he said to Edmund. I mean, she's been saying it for months. Guess she finally worked up the nerve to say it out loud. Get out of my house, Edmund said quietly. Actually, I came to tell Cordelia something, Lysander said, still smiling like this was all entertaining. My girlfriend found out about us. She gave me an ultimatum. Stop seeing married women or she's done. So this has been fun, but I'm choosing her. She's got better prospects anyway. The humiliation hit me like a truck. Not only was Lysander ending things, he was doing it in front of both families while calling me a poor choice. Everything I'd risked Edmund for was crumbling in real time. "You have a girlfriend," I whispered. "Of course I do. We've been together 3 years. I thought you understood this was just physical." He shrugged. "Anyway, good luck with everything. The backup plan thing is probably your best bet now." After he left, the silence stretched forever. Both families stared at me like I was something they'd scraped off their shoes. The kids were crying upstairs. Edmund looked broken. That's when he pulled out a manila envelope. "I've known about the affair for 2 months," he said calmly. "Private investigator, phone records, hotel receipts, photos. I was planning to file quietly and try to keep this civilized for Oliver and Imogen's sake." My legs gave out. I sat down hard on the couch. "But then you decided to humiliate me publicly," Edmund continued. "You called me your backup option in front of everyone we know. So now everyone gets to know exactly what kind of person you are." The envelope contained everything. Photos of Lysander and me entering his apartment building, credit card statements showing dinners and drinks, text message printouts where I called, Edmund boring and said I deserved better. "The anniversary party was a test," Beatrice said suddenly. "Edmund thought maybe he was wrong about the affair. He hoped you'd prove him wrong. Instead, I'd proven him right in the worst possible way." 3 hours later, I was packing boxes while Edmund put the kids to bed. Lysander had blocked my number, and both our families had chosen Edmund's side. The backup option comment wasn't a joke. It was the truth that destroyed everything I actually valued. Subscribe if you think some jokes should never be made, even as a harmless comment. Hit like if you believe she got what she deserved, and tell me in the comments. Was this really just an innocent joke, or the final straw that broke everything?